You are listening to the Business Talk podcast. I am your host Deepak. We are honored to welcome Dr. Rahul Dey, former professor and dean at IIM Bangalore, as our esteemed guest on today's podcast episode. Professor Rahul Dey concluded his distinguished academic career at the Indian Institute of Management Bangalore on 31st December 2024, retiring after 22 years of dedicated service in the information systems area. Prior to his tenure at IIMB, Dr. Day taught for over a decade at leading institutions in the United States, including Rider University, Bow State University, Western Illinois University, and the University of Pittsburgh. He also held visiting faculty positions at Bordeaux Business School in the France and University Carlos III of Madrid in Spain. Before entering academia, he worked as a consultant with SB Bilimoria and Company, Chartered Accountants and Management Consultants in New Delhi for over 2 years. Professor Day holds a PhD from the Joseph M. Katz Graduate School of Business, University of Pittsburgh, USA, an MBA from the Faculty of Management Studies, Delhi University, and a BTech from IIT Delhi. His research spans a wide array of topics, including ICT for development, open source ecosystems, e-government systems, digital payments, internet governance, telemedicine, and AI ethics. He has extensive publication records across books, book chapters, international peer-reviewed journals, conference proceedings, and popular media. Widely recognized for his scholarly contributions, Professor Day has received numerous accolades. In November 2024, he was named as a distinguished member of the Association for Information Systems, the premium global body of IA scholars. In 2020, he was ranked among the top 10 AI researchers in India by Analytics India magazine. His awards also include the Outstanding Paper Award for Most Interdisciplinary and Innovative Research at E-Government 2009, Linz, Austria. The Rene Wagener Outstanding Paper Award and Best Professor in Information System as Asia's Best Business School Awards in Singapore in 2010. He also served as the honorary chair of the International Conference on Information Systems in 2023. In addition to his achievements in teaching and research, Professor Day made significant contributions to institutional leadership at IIM Bangalore. He held several senior administrative roles, notably as a member of the Board of Governance and Dean Programs, and served on numerous key institutional committees. Professor Rahul Day's career exemplifies academic excellence, thought leadership, and unwavering commitment to institutional building and social impact. In this episode, Professor Rahul Day discusses his book, AI for Managers, a practical guide to understanding AI's impact on business, covering topics from digital transformation and machine learning to responsible AI and generative models. The book equips managers, executives, and students to harness AI for strategic advantage without requiring technical expertise. So without further delay, let's welcome Dr. Rahul Day to the podcast. Dr. Rahul, it's an honor and privilege to have you join us today.
Thank you, Deepak. So kind of you to invite me to this podcast. Very happy to be here and to address your questions.
Thank you. Dr. Day, you describe AI for managers as a low math, low code book. What misconceptions about AI do you often see among business leaders, and how did you address this in your writing?
Great question. Many times, because of so much hype about AI, a lot of things are confused with it. For example, almost all the systems we use in our everyday lives, email or an ERP system, they are not AI systems. Although one may think that there is some AI built into them, but they are what you would call traditional systems. So it was very important to clarify exactly what constitutes AI and what it isn't. That was one part. The second part is many things are thrown in the AI bucket. And in my first chapter in the book itself, I try to clarify, look, there is something traditionally known as statistics and statistical analysis, which today has a lot of overlap with AI, but all of it is not AI. AI has evolved as a subject on its own, and it does have overlaps with what we call today data science and analytics. However, it is quite distinct on its own. The third thing, and that is a major confusion, when people today refer to the phrase AI, oftentimes they're talking about these generative AI models like ChatGPT or DALI. Actually, AI is a lot more. There were earlier models. We've all been using AI, like Google Search is AI, like Google Maps is AI. We've been using it for a long time. These were the earlier generation of either search or prediction or classification based applications. So that was something I wanted to clarify to managers that that is the issue here.
Very insightful. Professor, the book spans foundational topics like reinforcement learning and neural networks, but also newer frontiers like swarm intelligence and generative AI. Which of
Mhm.
these do you believe managers need to urgently understand today and why?
Yeah, so today, clearly, understanding things like deep learning, neural networks, and generative AI, these are all in the same family. They're all built from neural networks. That is a core issue. People have to understand that. Plus, the in deep learning, they have to understand how it is built, what kind of data is used, how much does it cost, what are its challenges, and so on. However, there are these things I have mentioned in the book. I have chapters on them, like swarm intelligence or genetic algorithms. Now, genetic algorithms has been around for a very long time. However, not many people talk about it. It is an extremely powerful method which will probably emerge over time because as computing power improves, as we get access to these technologies, researchers and businesses will explore possibilities. So it is very important to know these other tools which lay dormant for so long. If you think about it, even neural nets were dormant for 20, 30 years. Nobody knew much about them. It is only in the last, you can say, decade that it has exploded tremendously. But we knew about it. I knew about it in the 80s. And I actually asked my advisor also, should I work on this? And he said, no, no, no need. It's not doing too much. But things change. So the possibilities are still very, very ripe for a lot of these new technologies. And it's important for managers to understand some of the core things very well, but have a broad grasp of the other technologies also.
Professor, you write about AI is more than just a technological tool. It's a strategic
Mhm,
capability. How should
mhm.
managers start thinking about AI driven transformation, not as an add on, but as a reimagining of their business model?
Very good question. Sorry, I have a little cough.
No problem. Take your please.
They definitely, you see, AI impacts all aspects of what I will call cognitive work, thinking work. Think of white collar work. Traditionally, white collar work means going to office and working in a way with your brain, working with analysis, thinking about problems, communicating with people, ensuring things work. All those aspects are now going to change because of AI. AI can either do it for you, do it with you, or just autonomously keep doing a lot of things which you didn't do before. So this completely changes the strategic orientation of your firm, whichever business you're in, whatever you're doing, whether you're in healthcare or you're in education or you're in transportation, it will change, guaranteed. Now, this strategic implication means your competition will also take it. So you have to now wake up and understand how is it that I am going to adapt, learn, and make sure that in future I remain competitive, I remain relevant, and the competition doesn't rush ahead in advance. And I think this will happen in across the board. Everything from the smallest player to the largest players, this will be a change for sure.
Dr. Day, the book emphasizes responsible AI. For decision makers without technical backgrounds, how can ethical considerations be meaningfully integrated into real world AI deployments?
Excellent question. See, the ethical part of it is very serious. Uh, I'll take some concrete examples. Many of these tools are built with data whose provenance, whose origins is being questioned today. We may use a generative AI tool which is using copyrighted data. And maybe as a company, you have ethical policy that says, no, we will not break rules. We do not want to. You may inadvertently break rules which you have to be very conscious of. Sometimes data is, as they say, annotated or labeled by different people from different parts of the world. Is this being done correctly? Is this being done ethically? Are they being paid properly? There are now challenges coming up. There is a lot of writing on this, that the data is not being prepared carefully. So that's one part of it. That's a very strong part that companies have to be aware of. Then think of processes. When AI tools come in of different types, what you do in the company is going to change. And you have to be very conscious of it, that you are maintaining the respect and dignity of your employees, of all your collaborators, of your customers in a very substantive manner. Today, laws are coming in, and laws will likely come in and make some of these things mandatory. That you cannot, treat people with disrespect. You must have inclusivity and so on. Take the third case, which is I mentioned data, your own employees, and then your customers. Are you doing the right thing with your customers? Are they getting fair and just treatment? Whether they are paying customers or those who are just interacting with you, are you treating them without bias? Are you treating them with transparency? Are you explaining things to them? Are you being careful of their privacy rights and their security? So all these things sometimes slip out of control. Sometimes your intentions may be good. You may be a fully ethical company and say, okay, we will do the right thing. But once it slip out of control, you are responsible. And as you know, there are many examples of this where things have gone a little out of control and companies have to pull back very rapidly. When the laws kick in, and this will happen, India is mulling over certain laws. European Union has already passed them. Many other countries are thinking of these laws, saying, you have to watch out what you're doing. It will matter in a substantial manner.
Dr. Day, in the book and during the boot camp, organizational readiness was a recurring theme.
Mm.
What indicators can leaders use to assess whether their organization is culturally and structurally ready for AI adoption?
Excellent question. The most important question for managers. So I will begin with the core issue. First is your top management convinced? So at the operational level, managers, workers, they will adopt AI, do things with it. But frankly, your top management at the board level, they have to be convinced and they have to understand what to do with this powerful technology and whether it is useful for you. That clarity of vision is absolutely important. uh, you cannot leave it to people to decide. No, you have to take a clear stand. That's one. Second, data is critical. And we keep saying this. There's a common phrase that is used, that data is the new oil. Data is the core resource in AI. Many organizations do sit on huge amounts of data, uh, but many times it's not organized properly in a manner that will help them use it for these purposes. So they have to take a clear decision on this, have a clear mandate again coming from top management, that this is the data that we will work with, this is what we will build up, this is what we will use. Third one is skills. Today, you can probably outsource and get companies to build things for you, but frankly, I feel you need to have internal skills. uh, I can understand if you're a very small organization, you may not have the capabilities, to hire people who are, but you need to build up your own skills. You may be running, say, I'll take an example, running a small clinic, yeah, and you don't have a large staff. Your own skills have to be pretty good. Maybe you can rely on some external vendors to help you out and build stuff, but you have to know what is going on. because of all those issues of responsibility and data that come in. The third thing is have very clear uh, what we would call a problem definition. What is it that you want to do with this AI? And that comes from your understanding of the competitive space. So you can have a clarity that, okay, I want to do this X thing, which is small scope. I call it a point solution in the book. I want a point solution. I want to do X. Fair enough. Once you have that clarity, then think about what is the data you will need, what kind of processes you will need, do you need to buy hardware and so on, and think it through. If you want a larger system, you have to again think it through. This requires you to understand some of the core issues involved. So this is a very important part. Many organizations are running to, excuse me, adopt generative AI because these tools are widely available. There are many of them. I would again encourage that with a little bit of caution. Please understand what are its output, how is it helping you, and how is it helping you stay current and competitive in the market. One should not just take it as is. Experimentation is perfect. One should try and experiment. Be systematic about it. Understand what the results are coming in. Those are core issues that I will point out.
With agentic AI and autonomous decision making gaining traction, how should traditional leadership styles evolve to stay relevant in increasingly AI augmenting workplaces?
Excellent question. This is actually the question of the hour. There's a lot of work on this. I will answer it in a kind of simple manner. Leaders have to understand what is being called today as co-intelligence, meaning you have a team, you yourself have a lot of knowledge about your domain, about the problems you're working on. You have to learn how to leverage this new technology that has come in. And this new technology is not one, there are many types of these technologies. So you have to look for new ways of doing things, new products, new services, new ways to interact with your clients and with your vendors. All these are changing in a way that sometimes even our textbooks have not figured it out. So, in a way, this is a very exciting time. It is for you to figure out how to leverage this co-intelligence. Now, this some of this AI stuff is extremely powerful. It can do phenomenal things for you. How you put it in motion? Agentic AI is actually, but right now it is still at an early stage of development. One is seeing very limited applications come through. They're coming, but give it another few months or so, you'll see extremely powerful applications which will come in and assist with your current styles of working. Very, very powerful. What it means for you is something you have to visualize and leverage carefully, very, very carefully, and make sure that you are ahead of the game, which means you have to actually understand these products very well. You have to understand how to leverage them. The third thing I will emphasize here is many of these cases, you have to be conscious of that responsible part of it. Are you remaining inclusive? Are you ensuring that jobs are not lost or customers are not affected in any negative way? Are you being sustainable with regard to the environment? Are you being conscious of these issues? So those aspects will have to be worked out. There are no recipes. Some consultants, etc., may give you some answers, but by and large, you have to figure it out. This is at a very exciting stage where things will make a big, big difference.
Professor, could you share a case study or example from the book that illustrate how a non-tech firm successfully leverage AI for competitive advantage and what made their approach work?
Great question again. Yes, I do have one case. It is Tata Steel. Tata Steel is a very well-known steel making company. They're not known as an IT company in any way. Of course, there is TCS, which is a separate company. I found it very impressive that Tata Steel leveraged, and I was able to write about this in the text because I read up a lot on their website, and also I had occasion to interact with their CEO very briefly. Uh, all the points I was mentioning are important. Their CEO, the top management, is very aware of these technologies and very supportive of his team using AI, digital twins, blockchain technologies, cloud, leveraging it very effectively across the firm. And what they have done is steelmaking is, more than 100 years old. They've been around for a long time. It is a very well-known technology. They know what to do. But they have very carefully built in these technologies to further enhance their product and make it much better and usable for their downside customers. So they actually don't sell to the final customer. And you and I use steel, and when we buy products, but there are Tata Steel sells to the people who actually take this and build things with it, which you and I buy. So they've made a lot of efforts to understand both their in-between partners and the final customer, how they are using that steel that they're making. So I'm very happy with that case. It's a excellent example of how a traditional company, which is, what we call incumbents, who are not into IT, who are leveraging AI brilliantly, doing a very good job.
Professor, you highlight the growing expectation that even MBA students be conversant with AI. How do you foresee this shift impacting talent hiring, evolution, and upskilling across industries?
A great question. Yes. So I think all MBA students have to be aware of and conscious of this technology. And I'll put it as a simple equation. MBA students who understand AI and leverage it will completely replace those who don't. So that, for me, that is a very simple given. Our students, at least the students I interact with in IMB, they are conscious of this. They know this and they are on top of it. In future, your hiring, training, and all the skill development that will happen in organizations will strongly leverage AI. Will strongly. Already, I know many companies which actually hire a lot of MBAs are their entire set of employees. They're all going through this retraining, and they put a top level mandate saying everybody has to retrain. You have to understand what AI can do for us, how we will proceed further. This is not the case in every company, and I think they are also figuring this out very rapidly. That unless we are aware of this technology, we won't make it. So for MBA students in particular, two things are important. A foundational knowledge that you should know exactly what you're talking about when you're saying AI. You shouldn't make categorical mistakes that, referring to something as AI where it's not. That foundational understanding so that you are in the conversation is important. The second thing is how do you actually leverage it for your work? Because it will impact everything you do. Gone are the days when you would hire an MBA who would basically make PowerPoints and do some analysis work for you. PowerPoints can be made by a lot of these Gen AI tools. Analysis is being automated. Within 5 minutes, you can do what would have taken you a week before. So that they have to recognize and build on top of it, saying, okay, this analysis is done. I will now tell you what I understand uh, with these what the analysis is saying. Now, let me add three things. This is a very important question. Uh, Students have to now build three capabilities very, very strongly for the future. First capability, communication. As a human, your core skill as humans is we can communicate well. We can tell you, even by shaking my hands and pointing my fingers, etc. I am communicating to you both verbally and non-verbally. That is important. They have to build that. AI still can't do that very well. Okay, they're good, but not that. Second, understand. I can understand by listening to you and looking at you what you're saying, and I can get a good grasp of it. That has to be developed. Third, learning and adaptation. Your ability to learn continuously and move on that is very important. This MBA students have to know this. It's not that you did your MBA and okay now you stop learning. No, it this is the beginning. You have to stay ahead of the curve. So that will be the training requirements that industry will have to put up in future.
Professor, you caution against both hype and alarmism when it comes to AI. How can managers develop the independent, critical thinking you advocate, especially amid fast moving trends and persuasive narratives?
Yes, absolutely. So there are all these boomers and doomers. Boomers are saying, "Oh, all great things will happen." Doomers are saying, "Oh, everything is terrible. We will lose all our jobs, etc." I think yes, we have to make up our own minds. We have to understand by experimenting, by learning, by trying out these things. What are the capabilities these technologies have and how they will impact us? Certainly, things will change. That is assured. But which way will it change? We don't know for sure. I don't think any of us can predict that. Boomers and doomers have been around. There are also these skeptics who believe nothing will happen. This is all, all hyped up. So all these three scenarios will play out. I think managers have to understand the technology at slightly more than just just go by a hype. My book should help in that direction. Of course, there are many other books they can read into. Listening to fun podcasts like yours. There are now many podcasts, and I would encourage people to tune in. I too read a lot of these books and listen to the podcasts. We have to make up our own minds. That's the final analysis because our particular situation is unique to us and our location. We have to understand what it will do to us here. Not all things are applicable everywhere. I'll take a very specific case. All the AI today is very English specific. Most of it is very English or Western languages specific. How does it matter to Hindi speakers or Tamil or Kannada speakers? Actually, not too much. If you don't know English, you're probably not in that world. This will change. This will change. Some of the Indian AI models are coming in, which are in the Indic languages. That is where we have to understand how it impacts us specifically to our location. That is important.
Professor, I would like to conclude this episode with one last question. Given the rapid emergence of agentic AI and generative platforms, what do you believe the next edition of AI for managers might need to include if written just 2 years from now?
Thank you, Deepak. Excellent question. I've been thinking about the same thing. Uh, Certainly, I will, yes, include a chapter on agentic AI. I do have some portions of it in the autonomous agents chapter. There will be a need for a separate chapter on agentic AI, and they actually the methods of prompting, which are still evolving. So I have mentioned a little bit about it, given the basics of prompting, but I will probably need an elaborate chapter. But frankly, I feel the what I couldn't do, which I would like to do, is include a lot more Indian examples. I do have some case studies based on India. I would like to include a lot more short use cases about what is happening in the Indian context, in the Indian scenario, in various verticals: healthcare, education, agriculture, industry, different domains where AI is playing a role. That is something I will do. And thirdly, This is an unusual ask that is coming from some people. Some actually are my students who are saying, why didn't you put the math in? I said, no, it is meant to be a low math, low code book for general understanding. They said, no, it's okay. We understand maths. Put the math in. So I may include it. There is a technical appendix. I may expand the technical appendix a little bit more for those who are, curious about what is the underlying mathematics. I can include that in. So I will probably do these three things for sure. But yes, great question, and that will help me think through how to work on this book further in the second edition.
Listeners, that brings us to the end of this enriching conversation with Dr. Rahul Dey. We are deeply grateful for his sharing his time, his vast experience, and the insights from his latest book, AI for Managers. From demystifying complex AI concept to highlighting its real-world applications and ethical challenges, Dr. Day has offered a clear and compelling perspective for managers navigating today's AI-driven world. His distinguished career as a researcher, educator, and institutional leader stands as an inspiration not just for academics but for anyone committed to a thoughtful innovation and responsible technology use. Dr. Rahul Dey, thank you for your time, your scholarship, and for helping us better understand the world behind the screens. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Deepak, for these excellent questions, and it was a pleasure to interact with you. Thank you.
Thank you.